if you compare us to other countries, we spend, the price for prescription drugs in the United States is 50% higher. As a general matter, we spend much more per capita for healthcare than any developed country. That's the bad news. The worst news is our results are terrible. In that sense,
so we're paying more and getting less.
Yeah, in that sense, it is a bit like the book I wrote about education. Yeah. Just we spend more on education, the results are not as good. Here we spend much more on healthcare, and the results are not good.
Tell me about this concept of charge masters.
This was the thing, among the categories of things that affect all of our lives that we never knew about, this would be high on the list. Every hospital has this giant list, 6, 7, 8,000 items called the charge master. Again, it's all sort of in code and acronyms, but if a nurse gives you a cup to take a pill, the cup is listed in the charge master. The cup, the little paper cup, might be $6. If you get a chest x-ray, that's something else in the charge master. Every hospital's charge master is different. None of them are consistent. None of them make any sense, and most of all, there isn't a single hospital administrator who can explain how the charge master prices came to be, and none of them want to talk about it.
You have expressed this notion, too, that powerless buyers in a seller's market, where the only sure thing is the profit of the seller.
Exactly. Well, and that's why you can have a charge master. You're wearing a really nice tie.
Yeah.
So if you walked into a tie store and said, how much is that tie? The first thing that would be different from the medical marketplace is you'd get to know how much the tie is before you buy it, which doesn't happen in a hospital. The second thing that would be different is if the person running the store said, oh, that tie's going to be $6,000, you'd get to decide not to buy it. You'd say $6,000 for a tie? Are you kidding? I'm not, not even Charlie Rose is going to spend $6,000 for a tie. The third thing that would happen is there might be another tie store up the block where you could look at ties. So there might be competition. Typically in a hospital situation or in a laboratory situation, the doctor sends you for a test or the doctor sends you to the hospital. You don't know what the prices are. And after you get the bill, you can't understand the bill. If you're insured, you may not care what the bill says. In fact, you'll feel great because your $6,000 tie will have been discounted by the insurance company to $3,000, and they'll pay 80% of the $3,000, and you'll feel terrific, except the only difference is the tie actually cost the hospital maybe $6 to make.
Over-testing is a big problem, too.
Oh, totally. It's a routine testing. It's a profit center for hospitals and for doctors.
And they do it because they want to, they know it's a profit center, but also because they want to avoid lawsuits.
Exactly. Or because they say they want to avoid lawsuits, but it's a legitimate excuse because there's rampant over-litigation in the medical industry, and the one place where the Democrats are totally at fault is, they are basically owned by the trial lawyers, and they resist all medical malpractice reform. This is an article that neither political party is going to love too much.
Democrats won't like it because you raise the issue of medical malpractice lawsuits and the litigious nature
and because I say that Obamacare does nothing to attack the core problem, which is pricing, which is why Obamacare was able to pass.
I'm going to get to Obamacare, but
and the Republicans won't like it because I say that actually the only efficient player in this marketplace is Medicare.
It's the only efficient player, yet a lot of people look at Medicare and say it is the cost element of entitlements that will bankrupt the country.
Well, what's going to bankrupt the country is the continuation of what we have today. Medicare, the situation I described where, someone pays, well, if you look at the cover, the MD Anderson, the MD Anderson Cancer Center is charging $1.50 for generic aspirin or Tylenol pill. Okay, you can buy them on Amazon for 1.5 cents.
Yeah, exactly. So you can buy it on Amazon for